Hi. So, as previously discussed, Jacob had 4 wives, and I'm going to tell you how he got them. Okay, so when Jacob and Esau had their falling out, Jacob is sent to his uncle Laban's house. So, when he's on his way there, he stops in a field where there's a well where everybody brings their sheep to be watered at the same time. So he asked this man that's there, he says, do you know my uncle Laban? He said, yeah, actually, here comes his daughter Rachel with his flock. So Jacob helps her water the sheep, and then he kisses her. Like, I don't know where, mouth, cheek, whatever. But anyway, he assaults her with his face, completely unprovoked and uncalled for. And I have no idea why that's important. But yeah, he kisses her. And then he tells her who he is. I feel like he should probably, an introduction would have been, should have come first, but whatever. So she takes him home. He's been there for about a month, and his uncle Laban asks him what he thinks a fair wage would be for the work he's doing around there. He's checking the sheep and doing different things. So he says, Jacob says, I would really like to marry Rachel. I'm in love with her. So he says, I'll work for you for 7 years if you'll let me have your daughter. So Laban says, okay, it's a deal. So 7 years later, Jacob's like, let's get the show on the road. I need to go ahead and marry Rachel so I can sleep with her. That's what he says. So they get married that night. Her dad, after dark, brings her into his room so they can seal the deal, The next morning, Jacob wakes up and realizes that he is not in the bed with Rachel. He is in the bed with Leah, Rachel's older sister. Now, he did not have a fancy for Leah because she did not have a sparkle in her eye. And Rachel had a lovely face and a nice figure. So he's angry and he goes to Laban and he asks, why did you do that? Why'd you trick me? You duped me. I held up mine to the bargain and you didn't. And he says, it's not customary to marry off the younger daughter before the older daughter, but you can still have Rachel. You just have to work for me for 7 more years and then you can have both of them. And you might be asking yourself, because I was, how do you marry and sleep with the wrong person? Well, back then, it was customary for the bride to wear a veil, not only during the wedding, she wore it until after the marriage was consummated. So she has this veil on for the whole time. The whole time. So, tricked. I mean, it'd be easy to trick somebody then. So anyway, 7 more years he stays there, and now he has 2 wives. Well, Leah and Rachel were always like at odds with each other. Leah was unloved, and the Lord saw that, so he let her have kids. Well, he did not let Rachel have children. So Leah's popping out babies, and Rachel's jealous, and so Rachel then decides that she's going to remedy that situation by giving Jacob her maidservant. So she says, you're going to take my maidservant as a wife, you're going to sleep with her, and then she'll have kids, and they'll be like my kids, basically. So now the maidservant is his wife, and she has kids. So then Leah realizes that she's no longer having kids. So she goes, and she also has a maidservant. So now she gives her maidservant to Jacob to also be his wife and have kids. And they'll be like her kids. So this man ends up with 13 kids from 4 wives. At one point, Leah's son finds some mandrakes. And I don't know if you know what a mandrake is, but anyway, it's like a creepy man-looking root thing. It's disgusting. It's also highly toxic, but for some reason, they think it has fertility properties. But her son brings those to her, and Rachel's like, I want some of those. And Leah says, okay, you can have some, but you have to let me sleep with Jacob tonight. So I don't know if there was like a schedule, if there was some kind of rotation and Leah didn't want to wait her turn. I have no idea. But anyway, done. So the funny part of this to me is that, I mean, it's all funny, but when Jacob is coming home in the field, Leah runs out and meets him, and she's like, guess what? You're going to sleep with me tonight because you've been bought and paid for. I just bought you with some mandrakes. Bam. Yeah. Bought. She just bought him with a root. The Old Testament is wild. It's wild. Have a good day.